Hey everybody, welcome back to the Blockbusters show. I'm Adam Sykes, and well, we're starting up video production again. I know we took off a week because the hellscape outside right now, but we're pressing forward, we're choodling on, and let's start by talking about a mediocre family movie from the late 90s, courtesy of Disney. This is Tim Allen's Jungle to Jungle.
New York stockbroker Michael Cromwell has an appointment in the Amazon.
Rana?
At a remote Indian village.
Oh my God. It's Gilligan's Island.
He's not sure what he's doing there.
If we get to pick our own names, I'd like to pick man who's extremely well endowed.
Sorry, it's already taken.
But he's about to find out.
The boy sitting next to the fire over there is your son.
That is my son?
Tim Allen.
Coco?
Jungle to Jungle.
What's that? It's a mouse. Go get it. Oh.
Before we start, can I just point out, that is the most 90s thing ever of taking a number and putting it in the title for no reason. Like, it's not like this is a sequel. They just put the number 2 because I thought it looked cool. Manhattan broker Michael Cromwell, played by Tim Allen, is engaged to his fiancée Charlotte, but needs a divorce form from his estranged wife Patricia, played by Jo Beth Williams, who's been living in the Amazon with a native tribe for years. Michael travels to the Amazon and discovers he has a son, teen Mimi Siku, played by Sam Huntington, who begs to be taken to the city to fulfill a quest for his tribe. At first, things don't go smoothly for the kid from the jungle, but soon the boy and his dad bond. This is a live-action Disney family movie from 1997, starring Tim Allen, and it's a remake, but not a remake of something that they made, like Flubber. That was a remake of a Disney property. This is a remake of a French movie, because that has worked so well before. I mean, just look at when we looked at Just Go With It. That was based on a French movie, and that was 2 hours that I'm never ever going to get back. So the plot is your typical family movie setup. You got a guy who's really obsessed with work, doesn't really have a whole lot of time for his family, except here they take it a different route. They don't have it that he has a family. They have it that he's about to get divorced with his wife, and his wife is currently like helping some tribe in Venezuela. And so Tim Allen goes to spend the weekend with her, and he finds out that he has an estranged son who's been living in this tribe for very long. And they make a joke that his name translates to cat piss.
Mimi Siku.
Mimi Siku.
Roughly translated, it means cat piss.
They were surprisingly lenient towards a lot of stuff for PG movies back in the 90s. I know this because they not only make a dick joke.
If we get to pick our own names, I'd like to pick this. Man who's extremely well endowed.
They also make a fisting joke.
This in your village, yes? Women who hold fire up Sky's butt?
Even later, there is a vagina joke.
Nice poochie poochie.
They were surprisingly light in terms of like censorship for these family movies back in the 90s, I swear. But anyway, yeah, Tim Allen meets up with his estranged son, and there's a bunch of scenes where it's your typical fish out of water comedy where, you know, oh, this New Yorker, you know, with this big business suit has to integrate with a bunch of these tribes people, and oh, it's wacky. But Tim Allen's estranged son, played by a young Sam Huntington, says that one of his tribe initiation things is that he has to go to America and then come back. So obviously we're gonna get the wacky fish out of water story where we got this kid, you know, straight out of the bush in you know, American society, and oh, it's gonna be a bunch of, you know, he's gonna be doing a bunch of tribal things amongst all these stuffy New York business people. Apparently the original movie itself wasn't very good, and I'm willing to believe that the same kind of stupid shit that's in this movie was kind of in that one as well. I mean, the thing is, this concept, one, it's not very original. It's your typical fish out of water scenario. It's also been done better. I mean, look at Crocodile Dundee. I mean, you know, you got this guy, you know, this Australian animal tamer, hunter guy with all this like experience now in the big city.
Your house, Senor Meek.
Paul Hogan.
Hey, my man, what's happening? Wait.
As Crocodile Dundee.
That was actually a funny concept, and they used it well. Here, they stretch out this premise of this, you know, this tribal primal kid running around in the city while, you know, his dad Tim Allen just looks at him, you know, and gets angry at all the wacky scenarios going on, and all the while Tim Allen does his signature
Ever do that to me again. When I tell you to do something, I mean it. Do you understand me?
Maybe Siko's sorry.
Look. Sorry. I was just worried about you out there. I really was.
Remember that? You remember when Tim Allen was known for that? Remember when Tim Allen did a signature on the show he was on? So yeah, there's a bunch of scenes where it's just the kid getting in trouble, where they're in the city or the park, or there's a part where he unleashes a tarantula in Tim Allen's fiance's apartment, and she gets freaked out. There's a part where he eats fish out of an associate of Tim Allen's fish tank. The associate played by Martin Short, who becomes sort of important later in the movie. There's even a scene where the kid shoots an arrow into a bird and kills it.
We are all so happy today. Let's go.
Let me just reiterate, this is a Disney movie. I don't know if this movie's on Disney Plus. It probably is because it's got the Disney stamp on it, but just let that sink in. Disney movie, arrow right through a bird. I feel like I should be describing more, but I feel like you get the general gist of it. It's just a lot of, this wacky foreigner kid straight out of the jungle. Now, like, this entire movie has been done before. Another movie it was reminding me of was not just Crocodile Dundee. It also reminded me a little bit of that first live-action George of the Jungle movie. Except, and I said this with my George of the Jungle 2 review, that George of the Jungle 1, it's not that it's a great movie, but it had some charm to it. There was definitely things about it that made it more interesting. Like, there was the constant fourth wall breaks and, like, self-aware humor. That was actually funny. Not in the second one. The second one still sucks.
Nobody knows where he's from. But everybody knows where he's headed.
This one, it just not only does it take that cliche humor of like, he's climbing up buildings and, unleashing wild animals and hunting and eating people's pets and stuff like that and blowing blow darts. It does it in a very just generic family movie way. Like, as much as I rag on generic family movies from like 2010, those at least I'm like, okay, well, I could definitely see those being in the theater. This almost borders on like straight to video level if it wasn't for the fact they had such big names in it. At the same time, I don't want to make this sound like it's bad, because I really don't think it's like offensively bad. It's just kind of like generic family movie from the 90s bad. It's just, very generic setup, paper thin premise they stretch out, not very funny jokes, very cliche like comedy setups. So the movie does get more interesting as it goes forward, because as it goes forward, you then get more scenes of like Tim Allen and Martin Short getting wrapped up in this like mafia plot. Like, there's this like connection to the mafia, and the leader is played by, I don't know his name, but he's a Disney regular. He showed up in Beauty and the Beast and Lilo and Stitch. I remember reading that on his IMDb.
Sit. Coffee on market now 83 cents 1 pound. I pay you 85 cents 1 pound.
That whole part of the movie gets interesting, but at that point, it's just like, it's so far into the movie, you're like, wait, whoa, now we got a whole mafia subplot going on? What the hell is this? Like I said, it was more interesting than the rest of the movie, because the rest of it is your typical Tim Allen is embarrassed of his wild son, chastises the kid, and then immediately, they'll have the somber music, and he's like, damn it, you're my son, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. Oh, I'm sorry, son, I should try and be there for you more. I should stop caring about work so much. All that kind of stuff. It's your typical, like, family movie from, like, this era setup. It's like, if you've seen movies like Liar Liar and stuff like that, it's basically got that kind of same effect, except whereas those movies were a little bit more genuine, this just kind of feels like going through motions. Like I said, it's not that it's a bad movie per se. I would say that in terms of like 90s family movies from Disney, it's not as entertaining as Flubber. Flubber had dumb stuff in it, but Flubber I thought was more consistently entertaining compared to this. But this is just kind of like, it's generic family movie from the 90s. It's not super offensive. It is shocking how much like adult humor is packed in. Like, I know Tim Allen had kind of an edge back in the 90s, but like, God, some of the stuff that's in this, you're like, whoa, how the hell did they get away with that? Again, it was the 90s. They could apparently get away with a lot of stuff with family or kid programming back then. If you're looking for a family movie, for like a family movie night, it's not the worst thing ever, but there are obviously way better family movies. I mean, you want a better family movie with Tim Allen in it, you know, obviously you got Santa Claus, that was good, and obviously Toy Story, you know, is a classic. But this is just kind of like, it's fluff. It's just like generic whatever family movie from the 90s that's like, it's not the worst, but I wouldn't really think it's anything to write home about. The only thing I found interesting about it was once they introduced Martin Short and he was interacting with Tim Allen, I just couldn't help but imagine that this is what clearly was a setup to what eventually would become Santa Claus 3, The Escape Clause. Which, trust me, I've got that on the back burner for December, so don't worry, we're definitely going to be looking at that trash heap.
Okay, chill.
I invented chill.
Hey, Mom!
Anyways, guys, that's Jungle to Jungle. Next movie we're going to be looking at is, it's kind of an interesting one. It's kind of a hot meme. A lot of people like to talk about it. Some people say it's one of the dumbest pieces of shit ever, and some people, specifically the ironic crowd, like to say that it's a masterpiece. We are going to be going to the Spy Kids franchise, and we're going to be talking about Spy Kids 3D Game Over. Till then, guys, I'm Adam Sykes of the Blockbuster Show, and we will see you guys in the next video.